Alright, boom, we're live. Sappa, the great and powerful. How are you, dude?
I'm pretty good, man. It's good to talk to you again.
Dude, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
No, happy to. Love the podcast.
It's been actually like 500 months since my last episode. I've just been so busy with COTS and then, CBs and then COTS. Oh, I just feel really bad. I've got like 3 or 4 messages from people. When are you doing another episode? When are you doing another episode? It's like my small celebrity moment.
I would have been one of those if I'd had a life for the last 3 months. So,
Yeah, you've been crazy busy, man.
yeah, I've been away with work. It's I won't say much on it, but essentially it's done and dusted, and I'm hoping to get back to making content pretty soon.
Yeah, well, you're kind of like, I'm not going to say massive, but you're like a pretty big content creator. Can you just give us a little bit of background on that?
Um, I'd basically just do it for fun. Like I'm not good with like voiceover stuff, which everyone probably can tell by my videos, but I'm pretty decent at knocking up videos and animations, and doing game related stuff is a bit of a different way to do it. Like it's a bit different to actually cutting together, say, a documentary or something like that.
Mm.
And I kind of wanted to use my own creative juices for my own purposes, for lack of a better way. And I really like warships, and I play a lot of it, and I know stuffs, and I have a lot of opinions. So
You
I
have a
just
lot
started
of
making
opinions.
videos,
Yeah.
and I just tried. I started out heaps small. I tried all sorts of different things. Some of the older ones are pretty poor. I think I've pulled some of them, but in every video I just try to do something better or different.
Mm.
And then now I've got a few different formulas, and they seem to work all right, and things are on the up and up.
Yeah, man. I watched your Fiji video recently. It's just an incredible process what you do. Like, I'm actually so jealous because, right, full disclosure, I literally have a conversation with someone, throw together a 2 minute thumbnail, and put it on the internet. It's like super easy. It's honestly like the most chill thing I can do.
Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, it's the output. Like how good is the stuff? And I personally, I think your podcasts are great. I do think that some of the time people get kind of caught up on subjects and stuff, but I've watched every minute of every single one, so that's saying something.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest, I get a little bit caught up on the whole CC drama, which we're not talking about today because that's boring. That's actually like months ago now. Hype's died.
Well, and
So,
I actually had someone hit me up because, like, right on the time that I went away with work, was the height of the CC drama, and people were like, "Hey, man, are you still making content? Like, are you caught up in this?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. It's completely unrelated." Um, so that was kind of a bit of an odd moment to have someone think that I was big enough to be a CC or even involved in that. That was
dude, you
kind
could
of
you could be a CC.
I wouldn't want to be.
I don't know.
I don't need it. Yeah. I mean, I struggle to get content out in a really timely manner. It takes a lot of time to put it together, and I try and have enough stuff in the pipelines overlapping so that there's a sort of consistent release. But um, so it's like the Vampire 2 review I did. I think that was about the quickest I did from like ship release to ship review, and it would have been a month at least, I think.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know, I'd have to check, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy to not talk about the CC drama.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on it, it's really been a storm in a teacup. I don't really think we felt much of an effect, but no, like I don't know, being
It's
CC.
impacted the behaviors though. Like
You think?
Wargaming's behaviors, at least in the short term, have changed. The way they've communicated certain things on the dev blogs, and the way that they've tried to chime in on things that have been a bit of friction, has been a bit more positive. Um, Having said that, though, as usual, they kind of fall back on old habits. And I think I saw one from Sub Octavian about a Polish forum fiasco to do with the subs, and yeah, he could have communicated his response a lot better, I
Mm,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
I mean, look, you're a man with opinions, so we won't talk about that shit. But what we will talk about is how do you feel Wargaming's response to this whole fiasco has been? Because I'll be honest, I think they've handled it as good as anyone could expect them to. Hot take, I know.
I think, I think you're probably right. I think there could have been a few more I suppose you'd say, quicker responses on things. But we kind of always look at Wargaming as sort of like a logo, but they're a big organization with lots of different arms and a lot of different, let's call them franchises, the different servers, which means that not everything's going to be consistent and it takes a little while to move in a direction. But look, I'm hopeful. I'm not going to catch chickens though. I'm fully expecting stuff around the subs or something to go back down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, look, my opinion is submarines are garbage. Get them out of the game. They're just boring, man. Like, have you played much of the submarines?
Um, I played them a lot in the first few test waves,
Yeah.
enough to get the concept of where they were going and sort of predict a little bit of where they would sit in a meta or feasibly in a meta, as far as like sort of random battles. Because I'm not a clan battles expert. I should emphasize that. But I haven't touched them too much since. I just sort of jump in for a couple of battles just to see what the changes are, how they feel, and then I just leave it alone because I'd much rather come in when they're done and then analyze them from that perspective rather than get a lot of fixed opinions and have that taint how I analyze them once they are in a full release state. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of why I'm not. I suppose it's not just like with water warships. It's like with tech as well. Like, I'm looking at building a new computer soon, and the guy that I'm getting it done through is like, don't bother with all this new tech. Like, go back one generation because like that's tried, it's proven. You know how good or bad it is.
That is an exceptionally good thing to do in PC builds, except for one thing, um, ray tracing. So it's the RTX 20 series isn't going to be anywhere near as good at ray tracing as the 30 series. The 30 series is probably the first card that can do it like full bore. But then again, you know how many games have ray tracing, all that sort of stuff, and
Well, I
obviously not under
mean,
supply issue. Yeah, I completely agree. Otherwise,
I mean,
um,
for our non-technologically advanced viewers, can you just explain what ray tracing is real quick?
essentially, it's a new way to compute light, shadows, reflections, and things. Rather than doing it manually, it can be done at a kind of blanket level that ends up with much more realistic things, or much more realistic looking graphics. And there's a whole bunch of technical stuff behind it, but essentially that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it.
Right.
Look, games will still run without it for ages, and will still look good without it. But as far as I understand, I think it's a more efficient way of doing it,
hmm
both for the dev and or for the card. But don't quote me; I'm not a tech expert.
Yeah, no, neither am I. Look, I'll be honest, I'm part of those group that had no idea what ray tracing is.
Look, when one of my super tech heavy mates says yes, if you're going to go for ray tracing, get a 30 series card, don't get a 20 series card, then that's what I'm saving for, or waiting for the prices to drop, which will happen in never. Um,
It actually never.
oh no, chip shortage I think's forecast for somewhere into 23. So you're
Oh,
looking 2 years or a year and a half at
excellent. The,
least.
the 40 series will be out by then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, well, anyway, I'm waiting at the moment. I'm not made of money.
Yeah, no, I'm a small content creator. Emphasis on small. I'm not building a excellent new computer anytime soon.
I did half a big rebuild at the start of the year because my previous tower exploded in a jet of blue flame out the back of the power supply.
Wait, really?
Um, yeah, actually, really. I had been saving. I'd got up to like about $3,000, and I was aiming for a $5,000 3070, 3080 build. And I basically built the computer without the good graphics card and without a few of the nicer, bigger hard drives. But um, so I'm halfway there. I'm basically waiting for 30 series to get cheap enough, and then I'll finish my computer if I've got
Yeah,
money, which probably won't happen.
yeah, probably not. Bro,
Anyway,
you got to go buy water warships containers. How can you have money for that shit?
I've not been spending as much on those as I used to for quite some time.
Hashtag I stand with wargaming.
I no, so my problem is I understand all the fiasco about all of those different bits and pieces, but my biggest issue is I don't want premium ships hidden behind loot crates. I just it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Perma camos, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, cool, whatever. But if the only way for me to get, I think it was, what was the British Tier 5 that
Oh,
came
the
out?
Agincourt, yeah.
Agincourt. When they did that, I just, because I wanted the Agincourt, even though it was kind of crap because it's an actual ship,
Well,
and
it's
they put
tier
it behind
5,
crate, and I was
so
just like, well, I'm a mid-tier fiend, so it's kind of at the lower end of
yeah,
that.
there we go.
No, but I just went, no, you can get stuffed. I'm not even buying a single crate. Like, and I've mostly stayed true to that
Yeah,
since.
mostly.
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 Come on, come on, come
I
on.
mean, it becomes like
We'll see
a
something shiny that we want.
it becomes as a content creator, like it becomes like a weird kind of situation because it's like I want to showcase the new shit, but A, I'm not made of money, and B, I don't want to buy 37 loot crates.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like,
I'm like,
and then the question becomes like, how many do you buy at a time? Do you go 5? Do you just do like initial 5, or do you go like the full whale for the first purchase, or do you do incremental because you want to get it efficiently and for less money?
I mean,
Yeah, big brain thinking.
it depends like what it is. Like for the Agincourt, for example, I wouldn't buy it at all. I wouldn't even spend $1 on loot crates because I don't play tier 5. I avoid tier 5 like the plague.
And I let you in on a little secret. I
Go
think
on.
I got it in a super container like
Oh,
2 months after it.
oh.
I
What do you
can't
even?
remember, but I'm pretty sure I've got it now, and I can tell you for a fact I haven't bought any crates that would drop it. So,
My gosh,
it might have been the anniversary event. I don't know.
maybe.
Anyway, I have a lot of ships.
But yeah, I mean, I think maybe for like if it was like a tier 9 or a tier 10, then maybe. But then that becomes a whole nother fiasco where they shouldn't put fucking tier 9 or 10s or 8s available for purchase. Hot take, I know.
It's yeah, yeah. I agree. I don't think 9s and 10s should be for money, but we're already there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've already opened that box. Like,
That's already happened. The thing that annoyed me more than anything was a tier 10 premium, but with the legendary mod.
up your
That
motto.
okay, cool. Sell an up Yamato, that's no worries. But really, you could let someone buy a legendary mod? Like,
Yeah,
oh, how far you've fallen.
I
And
mean,
I'm not a wargaming nigger. But yeah,
yeah, questionable. Questionable, I think, is the word we'll go with. I just don't
yeah.
understand, like, I'd be very interested to see how much Wargaming plays their own game. Not because I want to shame them, but just because I'm interested to know, like, are they in touch with how bad the player base actually is? Like,
I think it's a very good question. I think you'll find that if they do, the the people who can make or influence decisions probably don't.
yeah,
But I would say that they're telling the truth when they say everyone plays it. I would just say that like you probably find the decision makers like derp around at tier 7 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and a little bit. Who knows?
yeah,
I don't. I try and avoid going down the kind of the rabbit hole of accusing them of not playing their own game.
mm,
But I would say that most of them aren't sort of what you and I would consider passionate veterans. So I
yeah,
wouldn't consider them to be in the top 10% for most of them, for the most part, which is kind of where people get the game.
mm-hmm,
Um,
absolutely,
but I'm not saying that people don't get the game don't necessarily have valid opinions. I'm just saying that those are the people who understand all the different intricacies generally better. But
yeah.
anyway, that's a whole rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Like, it's a very awkward thing because you say one thing and then all of a sudden the internet's saying Sapper Effect says wargaming shit.
Yeah, well, they do things that are shit. Like,
I mean, they do. We can't dodge
um,
that, can we? They
no,
do.
I'm less worried about that, but more worried about the like one of the biggest things I dislike about a lot of the competitive community is that the idea that because I'm good, I'm right. So,
Mm.
which is just completely backwards. It's like good ideas can come from unlikely places, and just because someone's good doesn't make them right. They can just as well be wrong. I mean, obviously they're coming from a place of knowledge and things like that, but that doesn't make their opinion correct.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And players aren't game devs.
Oh, do you know that's my number one pet peeve is when I hear, well, wargaming should actually just do this. Like, it's not hard. I'm like, do you have like experience coding? Like, are you a game dev? My gosh,
No,
how do you
and
know these
most
things?
even the pros of the pros that comment on this stuff, often they do a decent job of thinking of like what we would call second order effects,
Mm.
or do this, then that from that. But they don't cover everything, and there's more than just nerf this to fix that fixes this.
Yeah.
There's everything that you change influences second, third, and fourth order effects, and in a game as complicated with meta as warships, there are a lot of third order effects, and there are even some fourth order effects that can have massive influence on the way the game works.
100% agree.
So yeah, I try to be fairly fair on the way that they have been doing balance and stuff, but obviously there are some ships that are pretty blatantly too strong.
Under. Do you know who I think does a fantastic job of covering this subject specifically? And I'm going to get hate for this, but I reckon. Have you watched As Kants talk about the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Very good. Yeah, he's very good. He's got game devish knowledge, or he's passionate enough that he's looked into it. I can't remember if it's. I don't think he does it for a living or did it for a living, but I think he studied it all.
I think he's got some background in game dev. As Kants, I know you're going to watch this. Can you comment, please?
I love your Scans. I really do. I love your stuff. I love your talking stuff. Anyway, get completely sidetracked, but yeah, he does a good job of analysing it, although people don't necessarily hear what they want to hear a lot of the time when he says stuff, but he has I would say, some of the better understandings of that sort of thing. Noting that I'm no expert myself, so.
Yeah. Oh, no, look, I don't claim to be an expert either.
I just like to pull apart stuff and analyse stuff, so I don't know. Maybe that helps.
Maybe. But yeah, I think this idea that, oh, well, look at me, I'm a 70% win rate player. I must understand everything about this game.
No, you understand it for the 70%ers. Like that's basically what it comes down to. It's like the classic aircraft carrier broken question. It's
here we go.
Yeah, I did it to myself, didn't I?
Here we go.
Are they broken? Yes, in situations. 70% win rate people, 100%. Like, I have a hunch that it's got something to do with spotting and tactical power or ability to respond on the map, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, at the higher echelons, they've got a disproportionately high win rate in carriers than compared to other ship classes.
Yeah.
But are they broken in for average Joe or whatever?
No,
probably not.
Absolutely not. So I'm going to give my quick take about this, and I'm going to cop hate for it. I know, but aircraft carriers are just like every other class. The top 10% are going to look exceptional. You look at the Ascances of the world, the Stratmanias, the ICCs, the Lasers. They're going to look the Warlords, Triarchs. These fiends are going to look fantastic playing aircraft carrier. But then if you look at, and I'm not stat shaming, Mr. Joe 37%, who's grinded his ass off and got himself his first tier 10 aircraft carrier, great for him. He's not going to look that crash hot. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with you, but I think it needs to be caveated, which is that how can I explain this? I'm trying to tiptoe here, but they aren't mechanically the same as the other classes, but otherwise they're still much like the other classes. But at the end of the day, I think it's a lot to do with the spotting power, but they do have a disproportionate tactical impact on the battle.
Oh, absolutely. In clan battles, and I know you don't know much about clan battles, so I'm trying to be respectful, but in clan battles, right. we talk about, or at least over in 1AN, where I am, there's playing aircraft carrier, which I play aircraft carrier competitively. Not great, but I do. So we talk about setting up 2v1s, right? Or 3v1s. And an aircraft carrier can basically set up a 2v1 anywhere on the map. If there's two Goliaths just trading HE, which is the most boring thing to watch in World of Warships, by the way.
Have you played a fair bit of Goliath? Yes.
You can, as an aircraft carrier, you can be a force multiplier, right?
Definitely. And that's something I do understand quite a lot. And I think there's definitely room for improvement around the spotting situation, because at the moment you're not just a force multiplier, you can create a crossfire anywhere. And that is, you're basically forcing people to choose damage. But I don't really want to knuckle down on the CVs. I'd rather talk about pretty much everything else, because I think the aircraft carrier subject's been beaten into the ground.
It has.
And
it has.
I don't think I have anything fresh to offer that sort of subject at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, CVs are the way CVs are. It's just the best way I can put it. They're not changing. They're going to stay in the game. There's definitely places to improve. As an aircraft carrier player, I can tell you there's places to improve.
Yeah, look, and look, 100%. And I think probably the summary for aircraft carriers for me is quite simple: is they're in the game, they're not going anywhere. Don't expect them to go anywhere. There's still going to be people playing them, and they're obviously still going to be in competitive modes in some form or shape in future, because that's what wargaming wants. At the end of the day, it's their game. So we can kick up a stink about it, or I generally don't. I just play randoms. I just play better. But
yeah, guys, just be better. You heard it here first. Sapp3r effects, just be better.
No. What I'm saying is that, like, the first place that a player should always look to correct things is themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
The one thing that you have the most control over in anything you do is yourself. So the way you react to things, even just from a psychological perspective, staying positive, don't let it get to you, that sort of thing, is the biggest single thing you can do. And the more you stay positive, the more you're going to enjoy playing the game, and the more you can play the game longer. So why get salty about an aircraft carrier every time they're in a game? Why not learn how to play around them? That's kind of the position I take. I don't necessarily enjoy versing them, but I just try and be better.
Just be better, guys. No, I 100% agree. I think my biggest pet peeve is when talking to people and they just crack the shits for the sake of it, and it's always someone else's fault. I'm just like, yeah, but what did you do? How did you help your situation?
Look, we all get brain snaps, man. Like 100%. Like I see someone getting raging in chat, and I'll generally not try and antagonize them, and won't poke the bear, so to speak. But it's kind of, I suppose, it's how they carry themselves after that. If they're then going and jumping on a Reddit having like a big whinge about whatever XYZ, that's obviously you've got some anger issues there. Maybe settle down, mate. If they're going into forums and starting forum spats, which is I've seen quite a few of over the years.
I love watching that. It's great.
Oh, you one of the lurkers? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's been more and more of them recently, because I think I've got a shorter fuse with dumb shit. So I've been tearing apart silly arguments, and there was one recently where someone basically took me suggesting them to take a break or to perhaps go and play another game as an insult.
Wow.
That I was being egotistical and whatever. And look, I'm not the best with tone, particularly in text. I'm pretty garbage at it. I know that. If they'd just gone, hey, that tone was a bit shit, I would have been like, sorry, mate, wasn't intended. But they decided to take it as a personal attack, and then basically started commenting on everything that I was commenting on.
Yeah.
And it just turned into this massive tirade. And I wasn't going to back down, because fucking idiot being an idiot, I'm not going to let it just become a norm or become acceptable. Because if you don't call out the behavior, or don't make them look dumb for as dumb as they are, other people are going to see that and go, okay, now I can do similar stuff and no one's going to call me out. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I don't know. Probably just internet things, toxic stuff, whatever. But, yeah, it was entertaining anyway.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I love it. I'm one of those guys that antagonizes people. I'm not proud of it, but it's the way I am. So I see people, oh, well, this thing has made me sad. And, I've lost a game of Water Warships. Oh my god, my life's over. I just start taking the piss out of them. Like, are you serious? Is this the worst thing that's happened to you today? Like, get a grip.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
100%.
get over yourself.
It's like we all go and have a rant, but like as long as you can go, yeah, fair enough. I kind of may have overreacted. Sorry, guys, was having a little bit of a brain snap. Whatever. Be reasonable at the end of the day, and it's all good. It's all gravy.
My life's over because I lost one game. Oh my gosh.
No, it was the 3 streak, mate.
God, we're terrible people.
Yeah.
Well, I am. I
At
can't
least
speak
know.
for you.
Nah, 100%. I'm an asshole that masquerades as a nice person.
I like that. I'm stealing that.
You go for it. But I try to be better, but I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm one of those people that gets upset at the game. So we had a massive push for Hurricane this season in clan battles, and it just took all of my will to play the game. Like, it just crushed me. So now when I play, I just can't help but look at stupid people doing stupid things and just get upset. I'm just like, it's time to take a break.
Oh man, like see, this actually like comes back to the only thing I can probably talk about with clan battles, which is so when it first started up, like okay, before I get to this, I don't think if you're losing your shit over even a competitive mode and it's burning you out of the game, that's not a competitive mode I'd want to be a part of. And I get why you guys are pushing for it, but I just it annoys me that you're that burnt out after it because it should still be fun at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
so the clan battles thing, like when they started it, so they started what was it? Wednesday, Thursday,
Saturday,
Sunday.
Yeah.
And the time zones for us Aussies was like on the eastern seaboard, it was like 9:30. I think was the earliest non-daylight savings, right?
Yeah.
For those who aren't from Australia, daylight savings is in summer. Basically, go forward an hour. And for us, summer's when you're going to have more time to play because there's generally like the Christmas and holiday period. And we were just roped, but we were asking for like a couple of hours earlier, like just extend the window. What else do we try? Friday nights as well, because effectively, what like you'd know, but what it was is that you basically could play Saturday night if you had any form of like schooling responsibility.
Oh yeah, good luck.
Or
GG.
like you work for a living. Like fuck me, man. I leave at 6 a.m. on a late day, right?
Ugh.
There's no way I can play during the week because that means I'm in bed like absolute latest 9 o'clock. It's just not feasible.
Don't sleep.
But
GG.
this is the thing. Like, at least give 2 days. You should be aiming to get anyone in any time zone to be able to play two days a week reasonably. And so we kicked and screamed, man. We mobilized the whole ANZ community because keep in mind the Kiwis are like 2 hours later than us.
Oh
again.
yeah.
So it's completely ridiculous. And we tried and we tried and we tried. And they just came back with, no, we'll do cross-server stuff. So they did the cross-server stuff. The only other reasonable time frame is Sunday, US or NA server.
Yeah.
And it still equates to 1 session per week.
Oh, well, you could do Saturday, Sunday.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Saturday night
time
allocation on Asia is the same as the Sunday day one for NA.
Yeah, no, you're right. So it's Sunday, Monday. My bad.
Yeah, so you still get 1 session. That's why you just add Friday night, man. 2 nights a week there, everyone gets it. Good to go.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the only thing I can talk about with CBs because I was heavy in that because we're all heaps pumped at the time. 151 had like a whole bunch of players sort of in the shift between 50 to 55%, all improving. We could have had a pretty good team if we'd had the time and the ability to run it, but everyone's got lives, so that fell over.
Imagine having lives.
Yeah, well, I can't criticize. Most of my clan works full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that breaks my heart.
No, it's when we get together, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's important then, right? As long as you enjoy the game.
Yeah.
It's what I preach to everyone. Just try and enjoy the game. Like, yeah, It's a bit shit at times, but just enjoy the game. It could be worse.
And I'm the first person to say to someone, "Hey, look, if you're not enjoying it, take a break. Maybe you take a break and you like come back and you have some more fun, or maybe you take a break and realize that okay, there's other games that I'd rather play. That's
Yeah.
cool. Like games are supposed to be fun. Don't make it painful because if it's painful, there's go and find fun elsewhere. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
really
I
agree.
100% agree. Um, I think the biggest thing that people need to realize is it's just a video game. Like, yeah, people are passionate about it, and that's fantastic. But it's just a video game. Take a breath, and like seriously, if losing one game is the worst thing that's happened in your day, I I don't know what to say to you, man. But like, that's pretty good. Let's be honest. I could be being an asshole here, but like, you've got a pretty cruisy life.
I try and imagine the positions that people snapping in a video game could be in, as far as the video game's their outlet. So maybe I don't know, half their family got COVID and they're all sick in hospital or whatever, and they're in lockdown or quarantine or isolation, whatever, and they're playing the game as a stress release.
Mm,
Maybe their financial situation's like plummeting. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I try and imagine that their life has got a whole bunch of other stresses in it, and so I try and be fairly understanding to people being negative and just sort of call them out, go, hey, is that really constructive? That sort of stuff. I'm
yeah.
not no perfect, but I try and understand that, yeah, people getting ragey at the game, it might not just be the game. Like they may have come into it on tilt. Just yeah, but
Yeah, I mean,
oh man,
I actually 100% agree with that. Like, and I think another point to that is a lot of people don't realize is all right. So you make a mistake, and I start screaming at you. How do I know that you're not an 85-year-old that's picked up the game, spent his life savings to buy the Missouri, so he can relive his glory days because he served on the Missouri. He's got no interest in being good at the game. He just wants
how,
to muck around and play the
how much have you been
Missouri.
stalking me? No, uh, no, but yeah, exactly. Like, um, for all yeah, you don't know their situation. So try and be a bit understanding. They just want to shoot stuff,
Yeah.
And I think Askance really nails that in a lot of his
Mm,
stuff. Like I've always kind of held that view, but he kind of explained it really, 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 really simply and beautifully, which is that people just want to shoot pixel bugs. So,
yep.
yeah, but I do think the psychology of playing warships is something that I don't think wargaming has accounted for in a lot of their developments around new classes, class changes, and things like that.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's an interesting space to watch, especially with the later sub changes, because they've actually made a change in a positive direction. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd be really keen to see Wargaming look at, I'm not saying they should implement it, but is have a way for aircraft carriers to interact with submarines. You know what I mean? Because
I've
that's
been thinking about this.
one space that's just lacking at the moment.
I suspect two things here, and I kind of try and think about what they would do, but the 100% need CV interaction with subs. At the moment, I think because of the aerial spotting power, they're concerned about an aircraft carrier's ability to just end the subs game. And again, it comes back to the spotting system. I think is an issue because they want aircraft carriers to have some ability to spot the subs, but at the same time, not spot and destroy. So,
Yeah.
um, but keeping in mind that aircraft carriers were used for a large part for ASW,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's that element. And the other thing I think is that I strongly suspect that they're looking at diversifying aircraft carrier gameplay into areas like utility and ASW.
Yeah.
And so they want to keep things open for, I don't know, here's one from my guys, for the Commonwealth CV line to be an ASW CV line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and people are going, what Commonwealth aircraft carriers? Yeah, you could bend it a little bit and you can get a 6.8-10 or a 4.6.8 with a paper 10 or 4.6.10. They're all small. They're all escort carriers, but I think it was like Bogue, and then you make up something, and then you've got like kind of the Colossus and Majestic.
Yeah.
But that's what I suspect. But we'll wait and see. And that's just because they've mentioned things about wanting to look at support carriers as a thing. The problem is that to do that, and I don't know if they've realized this yet, they're going to need to overhaul the XP system. So I was actually working on an aircraft carrier video at one point that would dive into some of this stuff, but I had to hold because they announced the release of Soviet ones, which are obviously changing mechanics again and stuff as well. But essentially, the XP system is about 85% biased towards damage, and maybe caps, I think, are in that bundle.
Yeah, caps are huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But take them out, and it's still like a ridiculous percentage. Everything's damage and kills biased. But so if you've got that, any ship that's predominant role is utility or support becomes hard to balance.
Yeah.
So I think they should rework the XP system, and I think they need to do it sooner rather than later. They'll do it.
Mm-hmm. That's a big
because
thing.
It's really hard. Like I'm not saying it's easy, but many good things are hard to do. So you definitely need more, and if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. You need more incentive for teamwork because you want to reward the type of play you want to see. And Water Warships is a team game, so you want to reward team play. So little things like focusing a target yields multiplicative effect or something like that. Little things like triggering a damcon so that someone else can light a fire. Maybe give rewards for the second fire or the perma-fire to the person who forced the damcon. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And there's a lot of really clever ways you can do it with timers and within windows and things like that. And there's a whole bunch of
smoking up other boats.
Bingo.
Spotting.
Spotting potential damage. So people are like, oh yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. And it's like, no, it actually does because you're sharing the heat across the team. And spotting and tank damage should not be 15% of the XP rewards. It just shouldn't. Little things like this with the spotting, giving the proportional spotting rewards to the ship that's putting itself at risk. So, for example, aircraft carriers currently can spot and get uber spotting numbers, whereas a destroyer has to put themselves at risk a lot of the time to get the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to fix it. And if you fix that and you do it well enough, a support carrier or classes of ships that are more focused on supporting the team and utility become far more viable, and subsequently the amount of content you can produce, you being wargaming, is far, far greater.
Yep.
And I think that may be the next... Maybe, I emphasize the may in that, but I think that may be the next area that they will look at after submarines, noting that their primary solution to content is to release ship lines rather than maps or game modes.
Yeah. I mean, just touching on that subject, I was talking to Sherpa on the cast last weekend, and it's really interesting to see, I think COTS, King of the Seas, for those aren't in the loop, is the purest...
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah, that's what it means. Is the...
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, you're so toxic, dude.
It was too easy.
COTS is the most pure game form because you see Kremlin's tanking. You see Nevsky's radaring. You see Stalingrad's radaring, not kited off at the back of the map using range mod. You see destroyers spotting. Destroyers bringing extreme utility with their smoke and their hydro and all these wonderful gimmicks. Where if you look at clan battles, for example, you're never going to see a gearing smoking up two Nevskys. Ever. Like never. Not even one time will you see that.
Yeah, and I can't comment very much on that. But yeah, like I want to see more of that COT stuff. And I know that the people's auto response is, yeah, because no CVs. It's
Yeah,
like,
because no
yeah, it's a little bit more
CVs.
than, it's not just that.
Yeah.
It's things like ship bans and stuff like that as well. It's people who are working together to achieve an outcome. And it's where winning is incentivized over grinding. Because even when you're talking clan battles, it's still a grind, right?
Yeah.
It's work out a strat that works for you guys well, and rinse and repeat as often as possible to get where you want to go.
Yep.
But yeah, look, again, the competitive scene, I'm not great to talk to.
But even if you look at tier 10 random battles, people are just still grinding. You know, they're grinding PR, they're grinding average damage, they're grinding win rate. You know, they're not trying to play within the confines of a team. You're not going to see a Kremlin tanking 3 million potential damage to help his Des Moines. You know what I mean?
Tier 10 is the stalest gameplay in the game by country mile.
I just play series.
So
just play series.
No. So this is going to be like, here you go. Here's another controversial opinion. I think tier 10 gameplay is bad for the game, and it's bad for the players.
My goodness.
So what's your incentive? Grind PR, grind, just get the wins, whatever, right?
Not be up-tiered.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're playing, though, while you're grinding a line, like a genuine ship line, you're trying to get to the end quicker, you're going to play better, you're going to enjoy it more, and you're more likely to prioritize the win to get those win rewards rather than just like maybe farm some damage or something like that. I honestly think that the game meta between tier 5 and tier 9 is 10 times better and more dynamic than tier 10 meta. People play, people do things, and it's not just the same copy-paste set of ships doing similar things. That's my honest opinion, and I know that there's going to be heaps of people that disagree with that, and that's fine. Like, that's for me. I much prefer the middle tiers.
Yeah.
I just find it more fun.
I mean, look, I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer specifically. See, I'm not like you. I play the game to play the end game, which is tier 10. I mean, if we just look at it inherently, right? Tier 1 to tier 4 is the early game. Tier 5 to tier 9 is the mid game. Tier 10 is the end game, right?
I'd add a correction to that. I'd say 5 to 8, 9 to 10 is the end game. Because 9 is where you grind your credits now.
I mean,
finish the game.
I mean, yeah, but if we look at it like, you know, you don't put. Yeah, I mean, let's look at it like the jump between a tier 8 to a tier 9 is fucking huge, right? Can you honestly sit here and tell me that a North Carolina can compete with, you know, an Iowa?
Yes.
I think you're smoking crack.
So no. I the 7 to 8 jump is the last big jump. The only other jump there, in my opinion, is 8 to 9 is cruisers because they get a heal. But the big one is the 32 mil from 26 mil on battleships.
Yes.
And the North Carolina, I can stick it to an Iowa most days of the week. Obviously noting skill differences and things like that, but it's not, the Iowa's not that much of a better ship. Obviously that's a pretty poor example. There is.
Yeah. All right. So let's go Talon Riga. It's huge.
I'm just going to keep my trap shut.
All right. But you let's go St. Louis, Charles Martel, Mogador Le Fantastic.
Yeah, no. I look, I'll concede the point, but I'm not. I don't wholly agree with that.
Yeah, that's fine. This is a space where we can argue about this. Like, I'm okay with that.
I love arguing, mate. Like,
so do I.
I could argue with you black and blue all day, and I'd still love you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. But like,
I'm the same. Do you know? Sometimes I take incorrect stances just so I can have an argument with someone.
Oppositional defiance disorder. So you do the opposite for no reason. Yeah, no. So back to your point about tier 10 though, and the end game. I think they've wasted an opportunity with Research Bureau.
Oh, don't.
Yeah,
I
I'm
fucking
doing.
hate that stupid system.
So they've made it just like another grind sync to get more ships, right?
Yep.
If they'd made it a prestige cosmetic system
Mm.
where you could customize, slowly unlock different tiers of camo. Let's say the first one's like a black or a silvery or something like that. Like you choose from 3 or something. You can assign that to any ship in the line that you've regrinded, but it costs you maybe a regrind or maybe a regrind and a half, something like that. And then as you complete more, you can unlock a first color pattern, second color pattern, decal sort of stuff
Yeah.
until you get your full cool camo. And this is on one ship. And then eventually, when you've done it enough times, basically the camo act as, say, I don't know, a premium camo. I have the ship act as a premium ship, so you can put any captain in there, something like that, where there's a light at the end of the tunnel, like you've got cosmetic appearance, and your favorite ship. You don't need to just keep a commander set aside for it.
Yeah.
Suddenly you can cross load it. But let's say, I don't know, 5, 10 grand, something like that. That is a prestige and end game that I would want to be involved in.
Mm. I agree.
I've the only thing that I've done regrinds for is the Vampire 2.
Yeah. Yep.
I've got all the legendaries before the mission shut down. I don't really want most of them anyway. I just did as many as I could. But I don't want to be involved in the Research Bureau. Vampire 2 forced me to because I'm Australian. It's Australian and it's, in the harbour. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm pretty passionate about Research Bureau. So
No, that's fine. I detest it. Like, I mean, look, to be fair, and I can only talk from my little vantage point over here as a competitive player. From a competitive standpoint, the only boat that I'd want from there is the Ohio for its clan battle and COTS use. Like, yeah, I want the Vampire 2 because, it's an extremely patriotic ship.
it's also one of the best trainers in the game.
Well, I mean, you could just play daring, and
No, completely different ship. So daring is like a blunt force weapon. So like you can just kind of get in there in someone's face, get scrap with them. You got to heal. You can pop smoke at any time. Vampire 2's got the same similar shell ballistics, and that's about it. It doesn't have a heal. It's got crawling smoke with a big cooldown, and it's got hydro that's got a longer range. I think it's 5.5. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
it's like the Swiss Army knife. Like it's it's more like it's a precision instrument basically. It will scale once you've got a basic understanding of how to make it work. It will scale better with your skill level than daring will, in my opinion.
It's interesting
because it punishes mistakes more.
I mean, yeah,
You've got to think about what you're doing with Vampire 2 far more than what you've got to do with daring.
I mean, I think you might be overstating the heal on the daring a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, but it's got effectively a 50% health advantage over Vampire 2. I think the numbers roughly from memory were about 20,000 to 30,000. And it tips almost to double. It's ridiculous. Like, you do the numbers on it, and even just daring's ability to forgive mistakes. Like as long as I haven't gone into a spot where there's a radar, oh, look at that, I can just pop smoke and I'm good. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that in Vampire 2. You just can't.
I mean, yeah. I've always saw the Vampire as just a side grade to the daring. I didn't think it was any better or any worse. It's just a side grade.
I don't. I see it as a completely distinct ship. Vampire 2 in my mind is more like a better Z52 almost. It sort of sits between the two. Yeah, I could argue black and blue all day, mate.
That's
I love the
fine.
Vampire 2. It's probably my favorite destroyer in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, see, for me, I don't have that same patriotism towards the Vampire 2, but I do towards the daring because my father actually served on the daring.
I love the daring. Daring's like, put it this way: before I did Vampire 2, daring and Harugumo are my two favorite tier 10 destroyers. Not even a competition.
Interesting.
And I don't play them with like ultra gunboat builds or anything. I pretty much play them with standard DD utility builds with Harugumo and with IFHE, right? Like I play them like destroyers, and yet Vampire 2 is more of my favorite now. And that's not because it's Australian. I got it because I'm Australian and it's Australian, but I enjoy playing it because it's hard to explain. Look, to give you an idea, for the first 30, 40 odd games, I think my win rate in it was about 30%. I was averaging about 20k damage.
Sheesh, big numbers.
Yeah, I think I'd have to double check. I'm up in the 55s to 60s, which is where I would aim to be now. And damage, I think, is back up to around 50, 60k. So for me, that's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gives you an idea. Like I have had to learn how to make Vampire 2 work. Anyway, I won't get tied up on that. Sorry. Love that shit. I think that it, like Sapp3r, I'm not sure if you could actually name a battleship version. Maybe Vanguard.
Do you know the best trainer for any battleship?
Oh, go on. I like this avenue.
It's North Carolina, obviously. Obviously. It's probably the best example.
Yes and no. So yes, I agree with you, but I don't agree with you for someone who's like 52, 53% sort of win rate and looking to improve.
I mean, yeah, but then we have to argue about our definition of training. You know what I mean?
So it's probably the best battleship trainer, but for if you want a ship that scales better with your skill, I'd say Vanguard.
I haven't played the Vanguard, so I just assume it's just a KGV with fucking a Monarch with Hydro. So
no, it's like a tier 8 super cruiser with battleship advantages. It's got heavy cruiser level rudder shift. It's got an uber armor belt, like as per most Pommy battleships, and it's got warspite guns. So, but the thing with the warspite guns is they don't have that improved HE sort of stuff.
Good.
So what happens is, because it's got good accuracy and it's got good rudder shift and things like that, good concealment, it's a classic battle cruiser type gameplay. And if you can master the art of how to play her, it scales better with your skill, like when to use HE, when to use AP, how to aim for AP if the enemy's semi-angled, things like that. Like it's just purely my opinion. Sorry, I got strong opinions, but
it's fine. But then we have to argue about our definition of battleships, because like, can we really say that the Bismarck and the Vladivostok, both tier 8 battleships, both fantastic in their own right? I'm sure the Bismarck's fantastic in its own areas. I haven't found them, but apparently they are.
Yeah,
but they play completely different.
Yes, but I'd say the way you play them is a bit different, but it's still more the same than it's not, because it's still hard-hitting guns that achieve sort of the alpha strike effect, a health pool and a heal that makes them hardy and resilient to damage if in the right positions, and long range. Like, I still think the core components are the same.
Yeah, that was probably a terrible example. All right, let's go let's go really extreme. Let's go Kremlin Thunder. They obviously don't play the same. Obviously. One of them is designed to be nose in, shooting AP, playing a classical battleship role. The Thunderer is designed to be at the back of the map like a scumbag doing nothing. So,
is it though? So, yeah, the Thunderer's got exceptional concealment. You can almost play it like a mobile kind of super cruiser-ish second tier ship. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm agreeing with you. But that's my point. You don't play the Kremlin as a mobile super cruiser. It's just simply not.
you could still get away with doing it.
You can, but it's not optimal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, I'd still say that the two are relatively, to compare to the other ships, tanky. Alpha
The
Strike.
Thunderer is not tanky. Please do not tell me that. Please do not tell me that.
It's inherently tanky if you compare it to a heavy cruiser.
No.
Big health pool. It's got a heal. It's
high explosive.
Yeah. I'm not saying in a dual 1v1, but it is far more resistant to Alpha Strike than, say, a Zao.
Oh my god, did you?
No, but like we're gonna.
All right, guys, that's all the time. That's all the time we have for today. It's a pleasure. I'll talk to you later, Sappa. Oh my god. You're comparing one of the best battleships in the game to the worst cruiser in any video game.
Oh, look, I'm an OG Zao fan club. It was my first tier 10.
Test ship Zao, by
it still bears the scars of my potato play, where I played it just for hundreds of games with 40% results.
Yeah, no. I'm up to
50% now, but yeah.
My Minotaur is your Zao. I have 611 Minotaur games.
Far out, mate.
It's such a good boat. It's great.
I love it. I'm a radar Minotaur scum.
Ugh.
I'm even the worst of the worst. I'm a radar Minotaur range mod scum. So I love it. Like, I love stealth radar. And range mod I've found kind of semi-necessary if you want to play any type of active role. And I tend to bias that way with cruisers just because of probably flanker bias. Like, I like Japanese cruisers. I like.
Yeah, you don't like playing. You don't like playing necessarily the anchoring positions of Moskva, Des Moines, Salem.
I can't stand it. I hate static. Like, I want to be moving. I want to be doing things. So that's kind of helps that plays into that. But also Asia, where battleships are at 18Ks. If you're in a minnow and the battle goes a certain direction, you basically will never get to shoot anyone. So that's why I run mage mod.
Yeah.
I can aim and I can just chip away at them, and they hate it. Like, I love them all trying to like one shot me and my minnow, and they do succeed sometimes. But and then I love Wasden the hell out of them. It's good fun.
I mean, look, you're talking to a smoke range mod Minotaur player. I know exactly where you're at.
So you're.
Yeah.
So you're doing shock and awe on what I said, and then like you're just secretly going, "Oh man, I'm on your side."
Yeah, secretly.
Yeah, right. Love it.
I hate radar. I such a dumb consumable. Imagine needing radar. Just know where they are and shoot them.
Okay, I've got a response for that.
Yeah, just shoot them.
4 per side DD games.
What do you need radar for?
You kidding?
What do you need radar for? Have you played on the Asia server? It's all Schmalens and Ragnars and shit. None of them have smoke anyway.
I hate high number DD games.
Oh yes, I can't stand them.
And one of the big issues that I have in the way that the game meta works is that a DD disparity ends games. So, just because it causes snowballs, and
absolutely.
And I hate that. And I think radar's a good thing to have because it can mitigate some of those issues. It's the same reason I don't think CV spotting should be completely removed, because you need to have a few things that some ships can do to kind of work back on that type of critical issue. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone says, CVs will win you games. They won't. They will. They're a force multiplier. They are fantastic at what they do, but they don't cap. They don't put pressure on the enemy from a standpoint of, they don't zone out people like destroyers do. Like, even let's say you're playing a 20-kilometer shimakaze noob catching torpedo build, right?
Yeah,
that is inherently more of an area denying weapon than any CV in any game with any player. because the
Yep.
threat of the torpedoes are just as scary as the actual torpedoes.
No, and I don't think it's just the torpedoes. It's the spotting. So it's having being perma-spotted, and the enemy can shoot you at will without being able to see what can see you. So you don't know how to get out of that situation. And look, this goes into a much deeper conversation about the concealment system in warships.
It's obviously accurate.
No.
Obviously.
It's not. It's an arcade game. I don't expect it to be accurate. I expect it to be fun. So the So that just get why are you getting all these can of worms from me? This
So
is
I mean,
like the most controversial video you've had.
That's good, man. I want controversy. Controversy breeds eyeballs.
So the all concealment modifiers in the game should be baked in and removed.
Hot take.
So, meaning concealment mod on all ships that would have a concealment mod, just apply it, remove the mod from ability to mount.
But what if I don't want to run concealment?
Don't care. So it's so core to the gameplay experience that I don't think that we should be spending modules and skill points on it. But
what if I want to run 20-kilometer? What if I want to run Lighthouse Henry or Hindenburg?
Look, they're meme builds. Like, I don't think that. Look. There's ways to work around it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if Wargaming wanted to have a system where that type of build is a viable build, then after all of these concealment modifiers have been applied, then have skills that build towards that.
That's the obvious answer. I agree with you.
Yeah, but like, think about it tomorrow. If every DD player had 4 extra points, like,
oh my goodness,
DDs are always like literally the core DD 10 points should just be baked into the DD class. Like,
hot takes.
Like,
I love
honestly, like, so I knocked up I was doing a theory craft on it, but maybe I'll actually do a video on it one day. But because I love analyzing stuff, I like theory crafting things. That's kind of my jam. But the skills system that they reworked isn't a rework; it's an extension.
Yeah.
So, which I think everyone kind of knew. The good thing about it is the different class tabs and all of the stuff associated with that. Love it.
Cannot agree more.
But if they wanted an actual legitimate variety of builds skill system, you would want a binary choice along a themed line of skills. So, for example, if you use the old one, I think it was like attack, utility, etc., right? So you have like, and each step of the way, let's say the first level skill is a choice between damcon adjustments. One extends the length of the duration of the damcon at the expense of, say, cooldown, and the other one speeds up the cooldown but reduces the duration, right? So
you would take that every day.
Maybe. But like, if you do the numbers right, it could be that, maybe a hit and run cruiser or something would want to do like a longer duration one where it can burst fire something down. So like something with a reload mod or something before going dark. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole bunch of choices you can make in there. And then what you do is along that tree is you have things that then multiply with it and synergize with each other. And so then things on heals and all of this sort of stuff. And if you balance it correctly, there's a legitimate gameplay choice there.
Yeah.
And I started knocking up some possibilities. It's somewhere in the Asia forums, but it was a sort of a concept. And it's like, if you want to, it makes it easy to balance, because each step of the way, you're not balancing the skill against all of the other skills. You're balancing it against its choice, right? And against other choice builds, right? So it's only kind of, it's a reduced balancing impact. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then more to the point, you diversify the builds to the point where if you do the stuff right, there's an actual ability to specialize in a direction with an actual impact. rather
Yeah.
than what we've got at the moment, which isn't really a thing.
No, because I mean, if let's look at destroyers for example. Really, you only have 12 points to spend if you're building optimally, because you're spending the first 10. No, you have 11 points to spend.
Nice
Because
maths, bro.
yeah, can't maths. Because your first 10 are like necessary. You know, your PT,
exactly.
LS, SE, and CE.
You never get to a point where, like, if you've got a certain gameplay style, you basically can run the same destroyer build on just about every destroyer.
Yep.
Or the same. If you've got the same choice, the gameplay choices that you like to make, like you have a priority list in your head, you're going to end up with a similar or same build for every destroyer. That's not gameplay variety.
Yeah, 19-kilometer clever, obviously.
Yeah, like
simply the best. No concealment, not necessary.
Oh man, just play a Henry.
Yeah. Henry has a citadel. It's inherently worse.
It's inherently weak. Oh man,
it's inherently worse.
I would wonder what a good midway captain would do to that.
Just dodge. You're allowed to. Trust me, I've played like 200 clever games. I know how to. I know how to dodge. You can do it.
I'm not doubting it. No, but like that's the thing that I would do. Like if you do give people the right choices and you bake in the auto picks that are just so inherently needed for each class, then you actually get gameplay variety. So maybe you play a Missouri and you go a utility kind of intel type build because you want to know where the destroyers are, so you can use your radar over like a secondary focus because your secondaries are kind of meh. You know, maybe on a like I don't know. There's endless
so many. Yeah, exactly. There's endless possibilities.
Yeah, but the thing is that with that Missouri, you know, maybe you want to go like a pushing build or something, or an AA build or whatever. But if you take out all of these tank options that are completely inherently must picks, you suddenly got a choice in gameplay there on the one ship that's viable. And yeah, anyway, but
no, I think you're 100% correct.
There's a lot of numbers that like would need to be finished out and a lot of ideas and things, but if you wanted a skills rework that actually provided choice, that's how you'd do it, in my opinion.
I 100% agree with you.
I'll have to link you that forum thread when you get a chance. If you
do it, I'll pin it in the comments when you send it.
It's incomplete. I meant to come back to it, but it's half done, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool.
Anyways, my friend, this has been a genuine fucking pleasure. I'll let you go because I'm sure you're a busy man.
Oh, not really. I've just basically allotted a boys' games weekend. And my missus was like, "Yeah, it's all right. I'll just look after the son because I've been away for 3 months. She's just been
go and do it. I'll just do everything."
I've got next week off, so I'm pretty much going to be doing dad duty. So
yeah, I must admit, my missus is fantastic, right? I'm a free spirit. I got described as a butterfly the other day, an elegant butterfly. I don't really know how to
having
feel about that.
Seen you on stream, I can't agree more.
Yeah, no, obviously
butterfly.
Dainty 6'1" butterfly.
For me, like budding moustaches always do it for me on butterflies.
Yeah, no doubt. And that caveman beard that I had forever. Yeah, glorious.
Yeah, what was that?
Dude, I just don't like having a clean shaven face because, right, my jawline is disgusting. I don't have one. I cover it with a neck beard.
Thinking of the chat images. Anyway, yeah.
So
anyway, no,
I get to do whatever I want as long as I give her enough attention. It's fantastic.
Right? Oh, look, mate. Yeah. I mean, like putting up with you, can't agree more.
Hey, settle down.
Anyway, mate, it has been an absolute ripper. Thank you very much for having me on.
Guys, link will be in the description. Please go check out Sapp3r. He's a far better content creator than me. Seriously.
Only a bit better.
Only a little bit. So we are back next Sunday with another lazy boy and Ducky from ANC talking about their COTS experience. So get excited for that. Yeah, anyways, I will talk to you later, Sapp3r. Cheers, man.
Thanks, mate.
Doodles. Oh, guys, like and sub. Do that right now. I forgot.